Hey there, everybody. We're ready to start lesson 5. I have my learning journal, I have my math book, I have my pencil. We're ready to go. So for lesson 5, that is learning objective F. I can use a graph to explain ratios. So we're going to be graphing today, which is always really fun. Now, before we start our lesson, we need to define coordinate plane and ordered pair. So make sure for coordinate plane in your green vocab page, you have labeled the origin. 0, 0 is right here on a coordinate plane. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. The other thing that I want to make sure that you get is an ordered pair. What do the numbers mean in an ordered pair? So the first number represents the number on the x-axis. The second number represents the number on the y-axis. So in an ordered pair with two numbers separated by a comma, this is the x-axis number, this is the y-axis number. If you don't have these in your learning journal yet, please pause this screen, copy it down, and then push play again, and we'll start the lesson. All right, so let me get the math book here. We are on page 47 in the math book. So pause it and turn to page 47 if you're not there yet. And lesson 5 is called graph ratio tables. And again, the learning objective is I can use a graph to explain ratios. And there are two things we're going to do. First, we're going to learn how to graph ordered pairs, which you've probably done before, so hopefully it's a review. And then we're going to compare ratios. So those are the two headings, graph ordered pairs, compare ratios. When we graph ordered pairs, we're going to be graphing ratios. So we're going to have to learn how to turn a ratio into an ordered pair. Okay, let's look at this vocab. Again, this is a coordinate plane. So it has the x-axis and the y-axis. It's formed when two perpendicular number lines intersect at their 0 point. So these are the perpendicular lines. And the 0 point here is called the origin. The horizontal number line is called the x-axis. This one is the x-axis, and the vertical number line is the y-axis. An ordered pair, such as 2, 3, is a pair of numbers used to locate a point on the coordinate plane. So this whole thing is called a coordinate plane. Write that down. Again, this is page 47. And then what was this called again? The origin, that's 0, 0. What's this axis called? Oh, look at that, it's labeled the x-axis. And what's this axis called? The y-axis. All right, now this right here, this plotted number, 5, 4, 5 on the x-axis, 4 up on the y-axis, what's that called? An ordered pair. Think it's in order, x to y, and it's a pair of numbers. A pair means two things. All right, so let's try to make an ordered pair right here. In 3 minutes, a North American wood turtle can travel about 17 yards. If the x-axis represents minutes and the y-axis represents yards, write an ordered pair to represent the situation. So check this out. You can take this little rate or ratio, 3 minutes to 17 yards. You can put the minutes here in the x-axis and the yards here in the y-axis. And that's how we're going to turn ratios into ordered pairs. Put the ordered pairs on a graph, and then we're going to be able to compare different ratios. Once we graph one ratio, graph another ratio, we'll be able to compare them in words. All right, let's turn to page 48 and get started with the examples. So, graph ordered pairs. You can use an ordered pair to name any point on the coordinate plane. The first number in an ordered pair is the x-coordinate, and the second number is the y-coordinate. So the x-coordinate corresponds to the x-axis. The y-coordinate corresponds to the number on the y-axis. You can express information in a table as a set of ordered pairs. To see patterns, graph the ordered pairs on the coordinate plane. So when we see patterns, that's when we're going to be comparing ratios. Here we go. Let's look at this ratio table. The table shows the cost in dollars to create CDs of digital photos at a photo shop. This table also shows the information as ordered pairs, number of CDs to the cost in dollars. So that's the x-axis, that's the y-axis. So here are the number of CDs, 1, 2, 3. Here's what they cost. 1 CD is $3, 2 CDs is $6, 3 CDs is $9. So when you put it in an ordered pair, it's 1 to 3, 2 to 6, 3 to 9. Remember when we used to write ratios as like 1 to 3 or 1 to 3 or 1 to 3? None of these would help us when graphing. So now we're going to write it like this because that is graphing language for an ordered pair. And now we can plot that point on a graph. So this is kind of like another way to write a ratio. So number 1 for the example says graph ordered pairs. Start at the origin, use the x-coordinate and move along the x-axis, then use the y-coordinate and move along the y-axis. Draw a dot at each point. So for 1 to 3, you start at 0, you go over to the x1 and up the y-axis to 3. So plot this point, that's 1, 3. For 2 to 6, 2 comma 6, 2 for the x, 6 for the y. There's your second plot. And then 3 to 9, 3 for the x-axis, 9 for the y-axis. So this x-axis is number of CDs and y-axis is how much they cost. So now we have to describe the pattern in the graph. Well, first of all, this first sentence says the points appear in a line. Whenever we are plotting equivalent ratios from a ratio table, they should end up creating a straight line. So if yours ever don't create a straight line, there's something wrong. Each point is 1 unit to the right and 3 units up. So the cost increases $3 for every CD created. So every 1 CD you come across here, you go up $3. So that's how you would explain the ratio using a graph. All right, we're going to try this together here, down at the bottom. The table shows Gloria's earnings for 1, 2, and 3 hours. The table also lists this information as ordered pairs. So for 1 hour, she earned $5, 2 hours, $10, 3 hours, $15. There's the ordered pair, 1 to 5, 2 to 10, 3 to 15. So let's first graph the ordered pairs. So 1 to 5. So down here on the x-axis, this is the hours. And these are the dollars on the y-axis. The hours, x, dollars, y. So start at 0. Go over 1 and up to 5. Now, do you guys notice that 5 isn't on here? We don't like go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 is actually in the middle of 4 and 6. So sometimes you got to watch and take a look at the scale. Okay, so that's going to be 1, 5. All right, now the next one is 2, 10. So we have 2. We're going to go up to 10 right here. So that's our second one. And then for 3 hours, it was $15. So 3 hours, 14, 15, right in between 14 and 16. So for 3 hours, $15. Okay, so A is done. We graphed the ordered pairs. Do you guys see how it's a straight line, showing it's an equivalent fraction? So when it says describe the pattern in the graph, you can see here that the graph shows Gloria's earnings increase how much each hour. For each hour, $5, another hour, up to $10, so there's another $5, $15. So Gloria's earnings increase by $5 an hour. All right, Gloria's earnings increase by $5. Oops, $5 each hour. Cool. Make sure you get that down before we go to the next page, page 49. On page 49, this is the second part of the chapter. We're going to compare ratios. You can use tables and graphs to compare ratios. The greater the ratio, the steeper the line will appear. So on this page, we're going to be graphing two different ratios and then compare them. So this example says, two friends are making scrapbooks. Renee places 4 photos on each page of her scrapbook. Gina places 6 photos on each page of her scrapbook. Make a table for each scrapbook that shows the total number of photos placed. If each book has 1, 2, 3, or 4 pages, list the information as ordered pairs, pages to photos. So, this is Renee, and Renee has 4 photos on each page. So one page has 4 photos. 2 pages would have 8 photos because there's 4 on each page. So 3 pages add another page, that's 4 more, 12 photos. 4 pages adds another page, which is 4 more, 16 photos. And then you just put them in ordered pairs, 1 to 4, 2 to 8, 3 to 12, 4 to 16. Gina's is a little different because Gina has 6 photos on each page. So her photos for each page should increase by 6. 6 plus 6 is 12. Add 6 more for another page, 18. Another page, add 6 more to get to 24. So here are those coordinate pairs, 1 to 6, 2 to 12, 3 to 18, 4 to 24. Now we have to graph the ordered pairs for each friend. So what do you see here? Renee. Renee is in blue. So 1 to 4, 1, 4. Then it was 2, 8, 2, 8, 3 to 12, 3 to 12, 4 to 16. Gina's is in red. 1 to 6, 2 to 12, 3 to 18, 4 to 24. And now it asks us, how does the ratio of photos to each page compare for each person? How is this shown on the graph? Okay, the ratio of photos to pages for Renee's scrapbook is 4 to 1, while the ratio of Gina's scrapbook is 6 to 1. On the graph, both sets of points appear to be in a straight line, but the line for Gina's is steeper than the line for Renee. So look at this. Both have a straight line. This is Renee. This is Gina. But Gina's is steeper. Gina's is steeper because she is getting 6 photos per page. She has more photos per page than Renee. So she's going to be getting more pictures than Renee is each page. And this is kind of interesting right here, the stop and reflect. If you add another person, Marta, and she was doing 5 photos on each page, how does that ratio compare? Well, look at this. If you had Marta for 1 page doing 5, 2 pages having 10, 3 pages 15, 4 pages 20, that's going to put her line in the middle. So she also has a straight line, but hers is not as steep as Gina's. Hers is more steep than Renee's because she has a ratio of 5 to 1, 5 photos per page. So hers is more than Renee, less than Gina. So that's how you can use words to describe ratios after you graph them. We're going to move into the guided practice now. So we need to turn to page 50. In the guided practice, here's how I want this to work. I want you to do one problem at a time. So we'll look at number 1, you'll pause it and you'll do number 1, and then you'll play it and you'll see if you did it correctly. Now, if you didn't do it correctly, I want you to make sure that you erase and fix. So make sure you're using pencil. All right, so here's the deal. It says 2 friends are each saving money in their bank accounts. Marcus saves $10 each week, while David saves $15 each week. This is using all examples 1 to 5 to do this. So let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can make a table for each friend, Marcus and David, that shows the total number amount saved for 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks, and list the information as ordered pairs, weeks to the total dollars saved. So what I want you to do is pause this video, do this, and then play it, see if you got it right. And if you didn't get it right, I want you to fix it. All right? Go ahead and pause it. Okay. I'm going to do the work. Let's see if you got it right. So, week 1, this is Marcus. Marcus saved $10 a week. So, in week 1, he saved $10. In another week, he would have saved another $10. So, 10 plus 10 is 20. Another week more, he's going to have another $10. 20 plus 10 is 30. Another week more, he'll have another $10. 30 plus 10 is 40. Ordered pairs, 1 to 10, 2 to 20, 3 to 30, 4 to 40. All right, David, what was his deal? David saves $15 a week. So on week 1, he saved $15. Week 2, he would add another 15. 15 plus 15 is 30. Add another 15 for week 3 makes 45. Another 15 for week 4 makes 60. Turn them into ordered pairs. 1 to 15, 2 to 30, 3 to 45, and 4 to 60. Okay, if you need to fix anything, pause it and fix, and then replay, and we'll do number 2. So let's look at number 2. Number 2 wants you to graph the ordered pairs for each friend on the same coordinate plane. So we need to use these tables and graph Marcus and David's ordered pairs. Go ahead and pause it and do that, and then play it and make sure that you did it correctly. Okay, let's do this here. So Marcus, I don't have 2 different colors. So maybe I'll mark Marcus's with an M, and I'll mark David's plots with a D. So Marcus, 1 and 10. 1 on the x-axis. Now look, this goes up by tens. 10 on the y-axis. So that's a Marcus. 2 and 20. 2, 20. That's a Marcus. 3 and 30. Marcus. 4 and 40 is Marcus. Now, David, 1 and 15. We have 15 between 10 and 20. So that's David. 2 and 30. That's a David. And then 3 and 45. David. 4 and 60. That's a David. So Marcus is here. David is here. All right, pause and fix that if you need to. Then we'll go on to number 3. So number 3, now we're going to explain, how do the ratios of Marcus's savings and David's savings compare? How is this shown on the graph? Okay, well, let's take a look. They're both in a straight line. Remember, I told you straight lines are good when you're graphing equivalent ratios. You need a straight line. So they both have a straight line. Whose is steeper? David's is steeper, because David saves more than Marcus each week. David saves $15. Marcus saves $10 each week. So David's is going to be steeper. So let's write an explanation for that. And then you can see what my explanation is. So go ahead and pause it and write yours, and then see what mine is. See if you left anything out. All right, here's my explanation. So I'll start with what they both have, and then I'll say what they're different. Both ratios appear in a straight line. Now let's talk about whose is steeper. David's line is steeper. And why is that? Because he saved more than Marcus each week. Because he saves more money than Marcus each week. Okay, that is the end of the guided practice. Now, the independent practice is for you to totally do on your own. you don't need to do 1 and 2. What I really want you to focus on for independent practice is 3, 4, and 5. So this is going to be the homework, unless you have time to do it in class. But you're looking at Ken's home supply charges $5 each foot of fencing, and Wayne's charges $6 for each foot of fencing. You're going to have to make a table for Ken and Wayne, graph the ordered pairs, and then use the table to explain it. So you're doing the same thing we just did here in the guided practice. You make the table, you graph it, you explain it. So based on this right here, make the tables, graph it, explain it. All right, you can go ahead and stop this. This will be the end of the video, and do page 51, number 3, 4, and 5. You can do it.